Good morning. Welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. And Sheriff, our topic today really is a hot topic, I'd say, in our community. We've been talking over the last several weeks about the uptick we're seeing with weapons on some of our local school campuses. What do we attribute this uptick to?
Well, first of all, Shonda, very alarming, very much a big concern that we have in law enforcement in trying to make sure that we keep the weapons off of our streets and certainly out of our schools. You know, that's a good question. What do we attribute it to? And there are a number of factors, I believe, that go into this uptick that we're seeing. Some may not believe this or not, but one, obviously, our kids are having access to guns. And some of those guns are coming from in the homes. Many of those guns are coming from vehicles that are left unlocked and unprotected, unsheltered. And there's an element of our society that gets out there and do the what I call car bingo, and they try the doors and they find the weapons there. And then just talking to our resource deputies and talking to citizens out there, you get a sense that right now there's more animosity, more angst, more as a lack of civility, I think, is what's been said out there. We're not as civil as we used to be. And we're in this COVID environment where people are more concerned about their own safety. And we've got what I call cabin fever, where people are locked away for long periods of time, and our kids too. And so there's a lot of anxiety that exists. And we've been told by some of the kids that are going to schools that they're afraid when they go to schools. They think that there are kids there with guns and that sort of thing. And then because they think other kids have got guns, they've got to bring their own weapons. And so we're trying to work with our school superintendent to really drill down on some of those dynamics to see if those are in fact the contributors to this increase. But at the end of the day, we just have to buckle down and make sure that we are looking at the criminal element, making sure that we get the criminal element off the streets. And that's what our staff is doing such a great job at, is going out there, identifying these folks. And I will say I'm so proud of our school resource deputies. The fact is that these weapons that were found weren't found by teachers, they weren't found by students, they were found by our police officers, and in our case, our deputies who were there jolly on the spot to make sure that those weapons were confiscated and did not get into a situation where somebody was hurt because of those weapons on campus.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great point to make, because there's a lot of talk about, you know, there have been at least 6 weapons so far this school year that have been confiscated from students, but those are all incidents where there was no tragedy that unfolded as a result of it. So the being proactive and being alert has really paid off in these situations.
Absolutely. You know, we talked about we're going to redouble our efforts around the schools, and we got some criticism about that. Some people saying, well, that's not the answer. Law enforcement coming in with more police officers, more deputies, that's not the answer. And we believe that. We don't believe that we have the answer to these issues. So we're looking at social service organizations to partner with us, and with mental health providers to partner with us so that we can, in fact, try to identify the cause so that we don't have the effects that are related to those causes. So we agree. Those of you out there that say law enforcement can't solve these issues, I absolutely agree. But we are part of the solution, and we're trying to get those other partners to come to the tables with us so we can stop this uptick in guns in our community.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. And we're going to dig deep into this topic today. We've got our captain over our Youth Services Department here to talk more about school safety. Stay with us, but coming up next, let's check in with Sergeant McMillan with our Crime Tip Tuesday.
Hello everyone, this is Sergeant Shade McMillan with the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and here's today's Crime Tip Tuesday. Cooler weather will start rolling in soon. We will start opening our windows, doors, and other spaces to bring in that fresh air. We still need to be vigilant and keep ourselves and our home safe. Never leave a door or window open while you are not at home. While out in the yard doing your fall cleaning, trim bushes and trees back so they are not blocking side of windows as a deterrent for would-be thieves. Take a moment to identify areas that could use extra lighting. Remember, it will be getting darker soon. Avoid walking or exercising alone after dark. Stay on well-lit streets and avoid shortcuts. Stay safe out there.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Get on top of it before they do. About every 30 minutes, tipped furniture or a falling TV sends an injured child to the emergency room. Preventing tip-over incidents is easy, inexpensive, and only takes about 5 minutes. Learn how to secure your furniture and TVs to protect children at anchor.gov.
Joining me now is LCSO Youth Services Captain Bobby Green. Bobby, first of all, thank you for the work that you and your youth services team are doing. Let's talk about the situations at our school right now. There are always potential dangers in our schools, but talk to our audience about what are the things we're doing to make sure we assure that those potential dangers don't come to reality.
Well, first of all, we work in counterpart with Leon County School Board and Safety Security. Everything that we do, we communicate with them and we work in conjunction with them. We have a great working relationship with them and their staff. We pretty much pay attention to tips. Information that's given to our SRDs or any faculty on staff, we usually follow up on it. So, you know, I know sometimes people think that saying something doesn't lead to anything, but in this case it does. So we're trying to be more visible and be more responsible and being more attentive to those things that people are saying to us so we can be aware of what's going on campuses.
I think that some people out there may not be aware of some of the measures we put in place to make sure that our schools are in fact safe. Can you talk about some of those measures we put in place and who we're working with to make sure we keep our schools safe?
Yes, sir. As I spoke before yesterday, we had a meeting with the school board superintendent. We're working in conjunction with them. Also, us at the sheriff's office, we have upped our staffing at some of the schools, just as a cautionary reason. Like you spoke earlier, some people don't necessarily agree with the extra people on staff, but on the schools. But we feel as if more visibility might be a deterrence, and we're trying to get LCSO seen on campuses more often, especially schools that incidents are happening on, so we'll be able to respond to something more quickly.
I know we're talking specifically now about weapons on campus or preventing weapons from getting on campus, but talk about the overall role of a school resource deputy.
Well, if those that don't know, the school resource deputies, and that's why they're named a resource, their main thing is a resource to all the administrators on campus. They might be a counselor one day, they might be a law enforcement next day, they might be a gym coach next day. So they're there to be the enforcement on campus. Of course, as you know, any situation that arises, they respond and they take control of the situation to handle it. So our resource deputy has a multitude of tasks that they do in a day. They don't just sit in the office or ride around a golf cart. They actually are interacting with the kids. They get to know the kids. They talk to the kids. They build a founding relationship with these kids. So they're able to follow up on information that's maybe provided to them throughout the school day so they can follow up on tips and possibly lead to some of these situations like finding weapons on campus.
You know, we're talking about school resource deputies. There's another piece that you have responsibility for, and that's the juvenile deputies. Talk about the difference in that role and a school resource deputy.
Well, actually, our juvenile investigative unit, they're detectives. They do follow-ups on certain cases. Actually, in a situation with these weapon cases, we have a sergeant and some detectives. They do follow-up investigations. So when that arrest is made on campus, it doesn't just end there. They do follow-up. They do in-home visits. They talk to the person that was involved in the situation. So they're an integral part in this whole operation also. So when a student is found with a weapon on campus, it doesn't stop there. So we do follow-up. We try to do intervention with that kid. We try to do some digging to find out what is the reasons why they're bringing this gun on campus. Where did it come from? How did it get obtained it? So these are the things that they do on a regular basis with all these type of incidents, and it's not just guns, it's any type of weapons.
Yeah, Bobby, talk about the other type of weapon. I know we got knives and brass knuckles off.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
We have a. This has been a strange year. I would say that we've had a taser taken from campus. We've had knives, of course, and they're not talking about regular pocket knives. We're talking about different type of assault knives, and also we've had ammunition taken off of campus. So this has been one of those things that we're dealing with at the beginning of the year. But like you say, we're trying to combat it by doing a little extra beefing up on campuses or being more aware. And also it takes the citizens to help us out, to tell us when they know something is going on. Like you spoke earlier, it's you see something, say something. So and that leads to more information than people really realize.
Bobby, I want to tell you again, I am so proud of the job you and your staff do in our schools all across Leon County. Tremendously great job. The fact that I think it's notable to our audience out there that those weapons we're talking about, those weren't weapons that somebody else found. Those are weapons that our school resource deputies found, and we're proactively going after those. And I want to commend you for that great work and your team for doing that great work. So thank you. Up next, how our teens are getting access to guns. We'll take a look. Stay tuned.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
1 in 3 women will be victims of sexual violence in their lifetime.
So will 1 in every 4 men.
But we can all help in the fight against sex crimes.
Don't look the other way. If you see something, say something.
And don't blame the victim.
No means no. Parents, be vigilant. Know who lives in your neighborhood.
And if you are a victim, please get help.
Let's be all in.
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 To stop sexual violence. We're back with LCSO Youth Services Captain Bobby Green, talking about the uptick in students bringing weapons to school and a great work the law enforcement and our school staff are finding and removing these weapons. Captain Green, how are these kids getting a hold of these guns in the first place?
Well, there's a multitude of ways that I see, Sheriff, just from the crime trends that we see from patrol. The first is unlocked vehicles. Either these juveniles or juveniles they know, they go around car shopping like you spoke on earlier. They unlock doors and they find guns inside of cars. We've also got information that sometimes, they get it from their parents or a relative that's close to them. They're very intrigued about a gun for some reason, and they want to either some take it for protection, as some have said, or some take it just to show off and be, that person's like that when you go to show and tell to show the kids in school. So the main thing is they're unsecured, and that's how these juveniles get access. As you know, juveniles can't purchase a firearm, so this is the easiest access they can get to them, either from unlocked vehicles which are stolen, or from friends on the streets, or from relatives who leave them unsecured.
Captain, how can the general public help us get these firearms off the streets? What can they do to help?
Well, Sheriff, we have a routine at 9 o'clock every night, and I must say I do it quite often too. I check my key fob and make sure that door is locked if something's in my vehicle. So locking your doors, locking your cars, I don't advise any person that owns a firearm to leave it inside their car. I can give them other reasons why. Is just, if you need it for protection, it's in your vehicle. You don't have it inside your home. So make sure that your firearm is locked up in a nice, secure place. If you keep it in a residence, keep it in a gun box, or keep it where a child does not have access to it or easy access to it, where they can get it in possession.
Well, while we talk about this initiative we have called Ceasefire, how is that working, and how important is that in your opinion?
Well, Ceasefire was an initiative that was started several years ago. It's a way that citizens can make an anonymous call to Crime Stoppers, and they can give information that leads to the arrest of someone who's in possession of a firearm that's legally doesn't have the right to be in possession of course, and it leads to the reward. So it's strictly anonymous. You call in a number, you give a tip, you tell them where the person is, where you saw the gun or they had a gun, and you receive a reward for it. I think that citizens have probably forgot about it. It's kind of, so we need to make sure we remind the citizens that it's out there, because in these situations, they could have received a reward for the people that did tell us that these people were in possession of firearms going to campuses. They could have received a reward from that.
You're absolutely right, Captain. You talked about the fact that we need to get that back in the community, back in the face of our citizens out there. And they should know that the business people of this community contributed the funds by which we, if somebody gets a weapon or knows about a weapon and let us know about it, the businesses are actually one that's funding that. So that's a real important thing. Now, another important thing for us is see something, say something. You talked about that earlier, but talk about that more. How can see something, say something help us get guns off the streets?
Well, the whole cliche about not wanting to get involved, we need to get away from that. We need to be able to be involved. Everyone in Leon County and Tallahassee said that they're afraid, they're tired of the dangers, but you have to be able to speak up and speak your mind and be able to be an individual and tell law enforcement when something is going wrong or you see something's going wrong. Like I said, I think we're trying to migrate into the school board. They're also trying to jump on and saying not just only see something, if you hear something, yes, say something. So it's a good slogan. It's something that really helps us out. It gives law enforcement the upper hand sometimes because we don't always get information real time. We get it sometimes a little bit too late. So this type of helps out to make a good arrest.
We obviously, one of the things that we're focused on here today is talking about weapons in schools, but we also have some roles in terms of being proactive and trying to make sure that we don't have a situation happen at school. Talk about some of the training that our school resource deputies do in the event that we do have something take place at school.
Well, we have active shooter training, which is we did that during the summer. Each of our SROs go through a very strenuous exercise. They go through different drills about responding to different type of incidents on campuses. All our SRDs go through this training. They're very well equipped. They have all the necessary equipment they need to if they have a shooter on campus to find that threat and eliminate it. So we go through some training throughout our summertime and also throughout the school year during teacher planning days. We give some shooting lessons and also some in-house training on how to respond to situations just like this. So it helps out.
If it happens, we're ready, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Captain Green. Coming up in our Deputy on Duty, on patrol with Deputy Heather Watson. Stay tuned. 1 in 3 women will be victims of sexual violence in their lifetime.
So will 1 in every 4 men.
But we can all help in the fight against sex crimes.
Don't look the other way. If you see something, say something.
And don't blame the victim.
No means no. Parents, be vigilant. Know who lives in your neighborhood.
And if you are a victim, please get help.
Let's be all in.
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 To stop sexual violence.
I am the 12th law enforcement officer in my family, and I actually used to help my mom get ready for special detail where she would be the lady of the night. And it was just really exciting to help her dress up, and to me it was fun. I'm at Crawfordville in the Circle if you want to wait for me. My home zone is Woodville. I like it because people are more down to earth. There's a different communication style with people in Woodville that I get, and I'm familiar with a lot of people up in my zone, so. You still have a southern hospitality, so I'm from South Florida, and it is very fast-paced. People are usually on the rude side, so I like it up here. It's a little bit calmer, less traffic. It's different every day. Some days I get to actually ease into my day, drink my coffee, get dispatched to calls around 9 or 10 a.m., and then at around 2:33, calls start to spike, and then start going back down around 6 p.m. And then some days, as soon as I am driving to work at 6:45, calls are coming out. And it's nonstop. So it just depends on the day. Yesterday, I maybe went to 3 or 4 calls for service. It was a relatively calm day. I took 1 report yesterday. Today was a complete cluster. And so the day-to-day, we can go from anything from a loose goat in the road to a child not wanting to go to school to a homicide. It just all depends on the day. First thing this morning, we did a transport for a search warrant for our detectives. And then after that, we got dispatched to Bright Star Circle for an ag battery / ag assault. One victim wanted to pursue charges, the other did not. So because a weed eater and a bat was used in the commission of the crime, we seized both items and submitted into evidence. In case the case does go to trial, then the prosecution can use that. An individual went to a local workforce place to try to get a job, and 2 individuals flagged him down in the parking lot, asking him if he wanted to make some extra money. He agreed to it, did some construction work for him, and the individuals paid him in a check that was addressed to him for $2,300. He cashed the check, he only received $200 of that, and then dispersed the rest to the 4 other individuals. The suspect named, quote-unquote, Tony, received most of the money. He worked also today for him, and when he tried to cash today's check, the bank noted that it was fraudulent. Everything is different every single day. I love the people that I work with. Like you were asking before, we all know each other on such a personal level, and we all care about each other deeply. We just want each one of our zone partners to go home safe at night. So, love the people I work with. Love that it's different every day, and then every so often you get to help those like truly special cases where you make a difference in someone's life.
Welcome back to Leon County Today, Sheriff. Seeing Deputy Heather Watson talking about her career and how she was inspired by family members. You know, we see a lot of that where individuals who are now deputies have had that positive influence to make them say, this is something I want to do as well.
Well, you know, that's what we call a legend.
Yes.
When you are your family and you continue to grow your family in the law enforcement family, that is exceptional, and I'm just tickled that generation to generation to generation of the Leon County Sheriff's Office, we see families, and now we see sons of former police officers, former deputies, and that just speaks volumes of our occupation and how it, you know, we say in the Leon County Sheriff's Office, we are one huge green family.
Yes.
And that only goes to solidify that even more. So I'm happy that she's happy to be on board with us.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say she's kind of all in.
I
right?
think she's definitely all in. Speaking of all in, Patrol Stroll All In for a Cure. What an awesome event, raising money for such a great cause. I see you wearing your pink this day. I know that this is one of those things that really everybody in our community in some way has been touched by breast cancer or some form of cancer. So what a great way for us to give back to our community.
Absolutely. Shonda, I am so happy that our deputies have embraced this whole idea. The fact that so many, as you just talked about, so many people are impacted by this disease, and the idea here is for us to all chip in and see if we can raise dollars so that one day we can eradicate this horrifically insidious disease that impacts so many lives in so many very, very brutal sort of ways, and hopefully we're on the march to do that.
Yes, indeed. And it doesn't hurt to see all of our men and women dressed to the nines for such a great cause.
I like that.
Have a great day, everybody.